Hello and welcome back to part 3 of the Mayflower from Amati. In this part we will attempt now the rubbing streaks, and we also will start to stain the wood and maybe paint some other parts of this model. But first let's start with the rubbing streaks, and how we do this you will see in the next video. Okay, so when we got the measurement for the waterline, we put the model upside down on a even surface, if it's a cutting mat, or the best is maybe a glass table, and then we have to level it out in this direction and also in this direction. So if it's leveled out, we have to make a device that can be improvised like this, or you buy something like this, and then you level this also from this point to the back point there on the stern, and then you draw the line, and that's already easy as it is. So I have drawn now the line. Sorry that I couldn't picture it because I have only one hand free, and I also marked the position of the two lower rubbing streaks. And now we're using the 1x2 mm wood strips and slowly putting it on the model, and you will see also that it makes a curve there in the mid section. That's normal. That's also what the plans shows you. We're using for this CA glue because that makes the job a little bit more easier than to using wood glue, because then the whole process taking much longer and it's need some other help. So CA glue is maybe in this case the best option. Okay, first rubbing streak is on, and a little advice I can give you: do not try it to put it on in one piece. Make it section by section, so you can press it, hold it, wait that the glue is dry, and use the next section. There in the front it always teared apart, so I put a little nail on it, and before I put the nail I drilled a hole so that the wood will not splice. That's very important, but we will not see this later on anymore. So now we can put on the second rubbing streak, and we use the first rubbing streak as a reference because the distance between are always the same from stern to bow, and we do this in the same manner as we put on the first, always section by section. And when it's finished I make the other side, and then I will come back to you. Okay, so now the rubbing streaks on both sides are finished, as you can see, and they are equals, and also there on the back. I only have to sand down now the corners, but this I will make later. I will continue now putting on the rubbing streaks there on the upper parts. There's a 1x2, and then it's going up with 1x1 wooden strips. You can imagine that it's not easy to film this also. I will do this all off camera, and when it's finished I will come back to you. Okay, so now the rubbing streaks are also finished from bow to stern, from up to down, and I want to make a few more parts we'll put on the model before I will start to paint the model. The first is the ladders. Then the chain wheels, and also the nails for the rigging. I think now I have done all the jobs I need to do before I paint the model. I drilled the holes for the nails and also the 2 holes for the anchor chain there in the bow section. I sticked all the parts on it what I think is important to glue it on before I paint it, because it's a better connection. And now I will give the whole model a thoroughly I will sand it with 320 grit sandpaper, and after this I polish it again with Scotch-Brite, and then I will tape the waterline and will start with the waterline. So we can see now that the model is coming closer and closer to the picture what is done on the box art. Since we have used oil colors for paint, or let me say staining the wood, and some acrylics to paint some parts, I have to wait now a couple of days to let it dry, because oil paints, that's a disadvantage, needs a little bit longer to dry. After this I will spray the whole model with a dull coat, acrylic dull coat, and then we will continue with the next steps. So the next thing, and also the last thing what we will do in this part, is to bring on the paper stickers what is included in the kit. And that's also the reason why some parts of this model I didn't paint or stain, because then the sticker will stick much better on the model than if you paint it with oil colors. So there's nothing in the instruction, so you have to take the box art as a reference, and how we do this we will see in the next video. Okay, so here we go. Paper sticks are on, and I have to tell you, I'm really not a friend of this paper decals or sticker, whatever you want to call it, but in this case it looks pretty much okay. The one mistake I make, because there is something it will not fit 100% perfect in these spaces, so you have to cut it. You have to wait until the glue is really dry, because if you cut it and your blade is not 100% sharp and it's still wet, you tear the paper away, and that's what happened on a small corner here in the other part, but I retouched it and so we don't see it anymore. Okay, so with this picture I will finish up this part, and in the next part we will attend the deck furnitures, means also the lifeboats, the gratings and cannon loopholes and whatever we need to finish up the model before we install the mast and the sails. Up to then, see you there.